get started. But we're so pleased to have you join us today for Marketing That Works for Small Business Budgets. Stephanie is one of my favorite presenters, and I will tell you that everything she has ever suggested to me works, and it's good because, as I'll explain in a moment, you'll see we are a little bit limited about what we can do in terms of marketing, paid marketing. So we are joined with Stephanie Scheller. She is the founder and CEO of GrowDisrupt, and we're going to focus on your marketing within your small business budget. So I'm going to run through a couple things to make our time together run smoothly, help you get the most out of our session today. I'm Jean Smith. I'm the training coordinator here at UHV Small Business Development Center. Stephanie's helping me. She's letting people in somehow. I think I'm technology cursed today. The air conditioning quit at the house. I did an earlier webinar and that platform didn't like me. And I'm not sure Zoom likes me either. So just bear with us. We will try and make this work as smoothly as we can. As you come in, you are muted, but we do, cross your fingers, have the settings so that you can unmute yourself and that you can ask your questions, make your comments to Stephanie. Also, we want your webcams on. We do want to see everybody. That really helps Stephanie make sure that her information is reaching you. If you have a question, go ahead, use that chat box. I'm in the background. I will be monitoring that. I can see the chat. If you can't hear us or it's not working right, the best thing I can tell you is log it out and then come back in. But Stephanie has shared her slides with me, so you'll get a copy of those. I'll share the link to the recording and any other resource materials, and that'll come in a follow-up email from me probably tomorrow, because with my thing with technology today, I don't trust myself. But my air conditioning is fixed, and that's important if you live here in South Texas. So let me tell you a little bit about the University of Houston-Victoria Small Business Development Center. We are a member of the Texas Southwest Small Business Development Center Network, and that is located, their headquarters is at UTSA in San Antonio as part of the Institute for Economic Development. And so we have a bunch of people joining us, and you're joining from across our network. You've probably heard about this event through one of the other SBDCs located at these universities and colleges. All of us are funded in part by the Small Business Administration and the state of Texas. So we are a partner with the SBA, but we are not the SBA. So as I said, this is our network, the Texas Southwest SBDC network, all in blue. Texas is a big state. There are 4 networks. In our network, there are 79 counties, so you can see why we need at least 10 SBDC centers. Our area is right here in red. We are on the coast, the third coast, as they call it. In addition, these are the counties that we serve. If you are not in our service area or you're not in our network, don't worry, you're not far from the help of a small business development center, because you can go to www.americassbdc.org and very easily locate the center that provides services for you. That's important because services from an SBDC are at no cost, and they're confidential, and they're client driven. You can't get a better deal for your taxpayer dollar than what we offer. And if you're not taking advantage of the services, we highly suggest that you do. What we do in our centers is we help businesses, whether you're just planning, you're in startup mode, you're growing, or you're ready to transition to something else. We help you for the life of your business. In addition, we offer low cost and no cost training opportunities, just like today's. And by being in our network and working with one of our business advisors, you have access to our specialty centers. And as you can see, every small business can benefit by having these experts assist you with growing your business. I will note our advisors are neither do they provide legal advice or tax advice. If you need that kind of assistance, your business advisor will help you determine where you can find that kind of assistance. If you need to get in touch with us, this is our new building, our new office. We are still doing primarily webinars. That seems to be what people like. But if you need to get in touch with us, this is the information that you need. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our presenter, Stephanie. Stephanie is the CEO and founder of GrowDisrupt. She's also an event producer and marketing director, and I'm not quite sure how many other hats she wears. But she worked for 3 years in corporate America and did fantastic. I mean, just blew their socks off. But she decided she wanted a little bit more. So just like you, she became a small business owner, and she did sales training and coaching. And it only took her 4.5 months to become successful. So that's really awesome. But this is somebody who has lived through all those troubles and trials that you have lived through as well. Now, after she built her sales training practice, she wanted to do more. So she established GrowDisrupt, and she provides now educational experiences that support ADHD entrepreneurs to thrive personally and professionally. And I got to tell you, her business has doubled in size during the pandemic. And that's awesome because, as you all know, the pandemic was really hard on us as small business owners and entrepreneurs. But with that, I am going to turn this over to Stephanie. If you notice there, she's also an author. You can find her on Amazon. She's spoken at TED Talks. There's not much you have not done.
I'm going to say that it just keeps going, the conversation. But thank you, Jean. I appreciate it. And yes, I love doing this presentation for the reasons that Jean was talking about. The small business is my passion. I know we all know that small businesses are the backbone of the US economy. To me, when I look at like why, it's because small businesses, we provide better service. We care more about our clients. We usually provide better quality, and yet we get overlooked consistently for the big guys, the brands, the big brands, the marketers, right? And so my obsession for a long time has been, how do I create marketing that works on small budgets? And over the past roughly a decade, which still freaks me out a little bit to say because I don't feel like I'm that old, and yet somehow, hi. For the past decade, I've been doing this across several thousand marketing campaigns. And yes, our event company did double in size in the pandemic, which is absolutely ludicrous. There weren't event companies doubling in size during the pandemic. And that was when I started to realize that what I do really does work in terms of marketing. And we created the Impact Authority, the company that teaches these marketing strategies that I'm going to go through with y'all today. So I am thrilled and excited. I will encourage y'all, please do use the chat, use the Q&A. I will keep the chat up in the corner so that I can see as you have questions. I would love to answer them. Partially because while I do events for ADHD people, I am also ADHD, which is probably why I do events for ADHD people. So if you ask your question later, I may not remember what I was talking about to answer it. So drop the questions as you come up with them. I'm here to help. I'm here to try and help you be able to market your business within a budget in a way that works. And I do this because I think I'm not the only one, and I can see some of y'all's faces. So thank you for turning on your camera. Those of you I can see, those of you who can't, pop into the chat. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You should be doing X to market your business. Anyone ever been told that at least once? I mean, at least once, right? Okay, you should be doing X to market your business. I get that probably 6 times a day, and I'm a marketer. Like, I had a lady last week, and she was so excited about this idea that I needed to be doing to market my business. And I finally had to tell her, I said, look, the idea sounds really cool, and I'm going to look at it inside of my CMO meeting, because I want to look at it when I'm focused on marketing, because as Jean talked about, I wear a bunch of different hats in the business. Tell me I am not alone there. All right, look it over. We got some nods there. We've all been told you should do PPC and SEO and SEM and SMM and you're just like, I did not realize that marketing was alphabet soup. This whole training is to help you get cut through the alphabet soup, to make sense of it, to give you the ability to feel like you are in control of your marketing instead of just, let's try this and see if it works. I remember my own mom at one point commented, she goes, man, sometimes you just have to throw stuff against the wall and see what works. And I just looked at her and I was like, that's not how marketing is supposed to work. So my goal is to help you figure out so you don't have to throw stuff against the wall to see what works. So the 3 things we're going to cover today, and we are going to move relatively quickly here. Jean, can you help me out with managing the waiting room? I'm seeing people popping in and I want to focus on the training. I don't know if you can see it to let people in. The 3 things we're going to cover today, the first one is avoiding common mistakes. The second thing we're going to talk about is the key to great marketing. And then we're going to actually talk about bringing it all together and how to build a cohesive marketing plan. Because I don't know about y'all, but I realized at one point in time that I didn't actually know what a marketing plan looked like. Like I knew what marketing tactics looked like. Like, oh, I should post on social media and I should have a calendar of when I'm going to post. But I didn't know how to bring all of these different tactics into a cohesive plan. So I'm going to walk you through how to create a cohesive plan today. So first things first, let's talk about the most common mistakes that most of us are making and are costing us millions of dollars in our marketing. And when I say most of us, hi, it's me. I'm the problem too, to quote a certain young female singer out there who has become quite famous for her Eras tour. I've done every single one of these. So when I can talk to you about these, it's because I actually live and breathe them. In fact, every so often, I start to think I'm a little bit smarter than myself. So I stop following my rules. And that's usually when I start wasting the most money in marketing my business. Mistake number 1 is looking for silver bullets. Now, these silver bullets can come in 2 forms, two forms. We oftentimes end up looking for silver bullets in terms of the perfect X. So the perfect flyer, email, landing page, business card, elevator pitch, etc. We look for the silver bullet, the thing that when I say it, it's going to make everyone just swoon. But those don't exist. And we'll talk about why in a second. But the hard truth is there is no email you can send that as a silver bullet is going to create conversions. There is no flyer you can create. There is no social media post you can make. So this, in a sense, is great news because it takes all the stress off of you. Like, you don't have to panic about trying to figure out how to put together the perfect X. Because it's not going to happen. I'm a marketer. I do this all day, every day. I know it's not going to happen. I don't even stress about it. And I get more results because I'm able to put out more messages because I'm not worried about making the perfect thing. Now, the other thing that we try and look for silver bullets in is we look for silver bullets in terms of methods or strategies, tactics. We look for the silver bullet, the one tactic that we're going to be able to do that is going to produce results. If I post to social media, if I get on TikTok, if I do search engine optimization on my website, if I join this networking group, if I do pay-per-click ads, if I find the one thing that's going to make a difference, that's all I need to do. So we cycle through different strategies trying to find the one thing that's going to work, but stuff does not work in isolation. In fact, that is mistake number 2, is trying to make something work in isolation. See, we look for the silver bullet. So we say, I'm just going to do, by the way, I get on soapboxes. Like, I get really fired up about this stuff. So if I start talking too fast, drop in the chat, tell me to slow down, please. But I get going. Like, this stuff really, it bugs me because there's a lot of marketers out there that are trying to teach that you just need to do social media. You just need to do website. You just need this. You just need that. And conveniently, they can probably sell you something that will do that thing for you. Am I alone? I mean, seriously, I'm not the only person who's dealt with this, right? That drives me nuts. because there is not one thing that's going to work. When we try and market in isolation, we set ourselves up for failure. And the reason for this is because marketing doesn't work in isolation. In fact, marketing, we all seem to think marketing works this way, in a linear growth pattern. If I do one marketing tactic, I get one result. And if I do 2 marketing tactics, I get 2 results. And if I do 3 marketing tactics, I get 3 results, etc., etc., etc. Okay, that's not how marketing works. Marketing does not work in a linear growth pattern. Marketing works in an exponential growth pattern. And for those of you going, exponential growth, I think I remember that from like junior high. Okay, I'm going to save you some pain. This is what an exponential growth pattern looks like. Exponential growth pattern starts very, very small, very slow. And then once it starts increasing, it increases rapidly. So you start by doing one tactic and look at how many results you get. None. You add a second tactic and look at how many results you get. I mean, y'all, it's really hard to tell if there's any results. The third tactic, we're starting to. Fourth tactic, now we're really getting there. Fifth, sixth, all of a sudden you're getting major results, but not all at once and not from one tactic. They build upon each other because we have to create what's called a brand ecosystem. I want to create enough marketing that's going out in a way that's systemized and automated so you're not having to do all of it, because trust me, that's exhausting. But in a way that is systemated, automated, so I can have solid marketing going out that works together to create results. And that is how we get into the results portion of the exponential growth of the results pattern for marketing. Doing one thing in isolation is rarely, if ever, going to get results for you. I pick on social media because, frankly, it's easy to pick on. There's so many people who are like, oh, social media is the only thing you need to do. And if you just do social media, you'll get all these results. And the challenge is there are some businesses out there that just do social media. That's all they do for their marketing, and they get results. But they are what is called a unicorn. In fact, it's kind of like you going and starting a tech company and expecting to be the next Google. Like, do you know how many tech companies start up and don't get anywhere? Most of us are not going to do well with just social media marketing. Hi, by the way, Amy, been forever since we've seen each other. Saw that in the chat. I was like, hey, thought I saw that name. Okay, so let's talk about mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 that we need to avoid is fly by the seat of my pants marketing. So we tend to fly by the seat of our pants when it comes to marketing in terms of 2 things. The first of them is strategies. We fly by the seat of our pants. We just take whatever strategy. That sounds good. Yeah, someone said pay-per-click, and this person said that they are doing, all these sales from their, I'm going to do pay-per-click. Thank you, Amy. I can see the chat. Y'all want to talk to me? I can see the chat. I'm just saying. But we fly by the seat of our pants in terms of strategies. We say, oh, this sounds like a great idea. I'm going to do this marketing strategy. I was told to put an ad in this magazine. I'm going to start this program or this one or. And we grab them as they show up, we implement them, we get them running. And the problem is now I'm running 16 different marketing strategies. I'm diversified, but I'm also scattered. They're not organized, they're not working together, they're not cohesive, and it's not getting results. So we have to have a plan for the strategies we run for our marketing in order to get them to work together so we can get to the exponential growth curve. Now, the other area that we tend to not have a plan and do fly by the seat of our pants marketing, which, by the way, we're going to talk about that. That's the plan we're going to teach you how to build at the end of the training. So we'll get to that. But the other area that we tend to fall into this trap of fly by the seat of our pants marketing is in terms of the time that we spend marketing our businesses. And so the solution to that is to create what I call CMO time blocking. For those of you who don't know, CMO stands for Chief Marketing Officer. Let me ask you a quick question. I do want answers to this. Those of y'all I can see, you can either nod or shake your heads. Those of y'all I can't see, pop into the chat. Do you have someone in your company whose title is CMO? Okay, I'm getting shaken heads. Okay, I'm assuming we got some no's coming through on the chats. No, we got at least one no. Oh, we do have one person with a yes. Okay, do we have anyone else who has? Okay, for the most part, if you don't have a CMO, someone who, to Jean's point, you are the CMO. Look in the mirror. Congratulations. You are the chief marketing officer for your organization, which means you need to be acting as the CMO. The goal of the C-suite is direction. The CEO's job is to keep the company on goal with the long-term plans. The CFO's job is to keep the finances on goal with the long-term plans. The CMO's goal is to keep the marketing on plan with the long-term plans. Your job is to be the CMO. So I'm going to encourage you to go to your calendar and block out, if you don't have someone in your company who's got CMO as their title, go to your calendar, block 2 hours per month on the last business day of every month. And spend some time evaluating what you did for marketing your business. Look up new strategies, new ideas. People came to you and said, you should do X. Great. Have a list that you actually go research at the end of the month. Yeah, 2 hours at the end of the month, on the last day of the month. The first thing you're going to look at is, what did we do? How did we do? So you're going to look at your KPI trackers. Great question, Marcus. So you're going to look at analytics on your website or your social media. You're going to look at how well did we do this month over last month. So you're going to look at how did our current marketing do. The second thing you're going to look is you're going to research new marketing strategies. And the reason that I really encourage people to only research strategies once a month and to only implement strategies once a month is because of exactly what happened to me last week. I had this lady coming to me and she had this cool, and I'll be honest, it was a pretty cool looking piece of marketing software. I was really interested. And I told her, I said, I will look at this on Friday. This was last week. So at time of filming, that was the end of the month. I said, I'll look at this on Friday when I'm doing my whole CMO planning. It was an $80 a month software, which $80 a month is not going to break the bank. Okay. My company's healthy financially. $80 a month is not going to be the end of the world. But it's still an $80 a month software, and I know better than to institute software just like that. So I waited till the end of the month. I reviewed that in comparison to the 3 other strategies I was looking at implementing, and in light of the other marketing I'm already doing. And what I realized was that while this software was really cool, it did not fit into my marketing plan. And that was $80 a month I did not need to spend. So look up new strategies then. Have a list you check on the last day of the month. And the last thing you're going to do is you're going to then make a plan for what changes you're going to implement. You need to update your website, your social media, your message. Create a plan for what needs to be updated on what you're currently doing. Create a plan for what needs to be instituted from the new platforms you looked at. And then send instructions out to your vendors or your team. If you're the one doing the work, put time on your calendar to execute the work the next month, but eventually you're going to get to the point where you have a team of marketers. And now you can send instructions out and let them get those changes because you get to be the CMO, not just the marketer. If you're not there yet, you can do the changes. It's okay. I've done that plenty of times. I still do some of our marketing, like actually execute some of our marketing in addition to being the CMO. Some of it's just fun. So we have to have a plan. Okay. Well, let's talk about our next step. The key to great marketing and saving a lot of money. And I'm not even joking, y'all. This is what's going to allow you to get by with a fraction of the marketing budget of all of the big companies, all of them, a fraction of it, and get more engagement, more results, more conversions. This is the key. Are you ready? I'm not making you wait till the end of the training. I see like David's camera is shaking. He's so excited. Okay. So the key to great marketing is very simply creativity. Some of y'all, if we were in person, would be wishing you brought a tomato to throw at me at this point because you're like, Stephanie, I am not a creative person. And I know I stand here in front of the paintings with my violins in the background and everyone looks at me and goes, well, that's easy for you to say stuff. You're obviously creative. So I'm going to give you some structure because the reality is creativity thrives inside of structure. This was one of the first paintings I Real paintings I did. Okay, we can all cringe together. It's okay. It's obviously, well, I think it's obvious that it's a horse. I'm assuming it's obvious it's a horse. I painted it, so I assume everyone knows what it is. Y'all can tell me if I'm like crazy here, but it's a horse, okay? But it's not a great horse. It's there, okay? But it's better than I can draw. I mean, that's fair. I started here, and then this was 2011, so a little over a decade ago. Then I started to learn one thing that really made a difference and took my artwork from feeling disjointed, fake, and flat to flowing together. And that is, I started to learn something called color theory. Color theory is the science behind how colors work together, whether calm and cool and hue and tone and intensity, opposite colors and how they play together to create warmth. For example, if you look at this, I love pointing this one out because we have the two colors in my brand. We have our calm and cool side, and then we have the energy and warmth. And so my brand really kind of brings together what's called a complementary color, right? And so they lean together to create an overall holistic feel to the brand. We don't have to get into all of that, but the long story is, in a short way, I started to learn color theory. And this became the structure that allowed me to take my art from this to this. Color theory allows us to understand how pieces play together. Color theory allows us to be more creative because it gives us a structure in which to play together. So I want to set you up to be able to be creative for your marketing. So what I'm going to give you is the structure to marketing that's going to allow every single one of you to be creative. You have to spend some time learning the structure. Okay, I had to spend some time understanding color theory. But once we understand the structure, and I'm going to give you a pretty good introduction to it today, we can start using this to create some really creative, impactful marketing. Okay, so the structure in very simple is, the structure that sparks creativity is this concept that I discovered called the 3 M's of marketing. The 3 M's of marketing: your target market, your marketing message, and your methods of distribution. Now, I had the incredible opportunity to run thousands of marketing campaigns, as I talked about. But when I was very starting my early baby career at that corporate job, I had the opportunity to actually run almost identical marketing campaigns side by side, back to back. So same campaign, same budget, same industry, back to back to back, which if any of you have taken any kind of psychology or science studies, that's a really great place to start testing for variables. And I was questioning at this time, what is the difference between a campaign that works and a campaign that doesn't? What is the difference between a campaign that works and a campaign that doesn't? And what I realized is that we would have identical campaigns, a landscaping company, 2 of them go up, same time of month, same campaign, and this one's getting results and this one isn't. And then the same thing happened again with a kindergarten, same thing happened again with lawyers, and I started to see trends. And the trend was the 3 M's of marketing. The campaigns that were successful had these 3 pieces in play. They had an identified, defined target market, they had an emotionally evocative marketing message, and they had clear and defined methods of distribution that tapped into creativity that was empowered because they knew the first 2 items. So let's talk about these, because these, once you understand these 3 pieces, you can start taking them to create something creative as well. So starting with this differentiated and defined target market. Now, I'm different from most marketing coaches and trainers. I know most marketing coaches and trainers tell you, you need to have a niche. You can definitely have a niche. If that is what you would like to do, you want a niche, have a niche. I don't care. But here's the thing. How many of y'all are sitting here going, Stephanie, if someone shows up and wants to buy from me, I'm saying yes. All right, I'm the only one. Y'all are crazy. Okay, if someone shows up wanting to buy, for the most part, I'm going yes. But I also have clearly differentiated and defined target markets that I appeal to, that I put my marketing in front of. And I have a different target market for the Impact Authority, this brand, the impact, the marketing training, than I do for GrowDisrupt, which is the ADHD entrepreneurs. Now, my ADHD entrepreneur target market, you could say, yeah, that's certainly a niche, but now we're trying to, you get someone who's saying, oh, well, you need to pick age ranges and genders and all this stuff. You can, but you don't have to. The thing is, you do need to know your target market. And there are a few things you're going to want to research, namely the items on screen at this point, which fortunately, y'all are all getting a copy of the PowerPoint, so you don't need to write down or take pictures of. Just a reminder, in case there are a bunch of you grabbing your phones, you'll want those later, but this one you'll get a copy of. Now, this breaks down into 3 really important pieces. 2 primarily here, but 3 really important ones. You've got over on the demographics, we need to know the rough age range, the gender focus, the income, the geographic location, family life. And y'all are going, Stephanie, you just said I didn't have to have a niche. I said you didn't have to have one, but you do. If you're going to market to multiples, like I do, you need to know the target market for each of them. You can't have one target market that is marketing to men and women from 20 years old to 60 years old. Trust me, that is a useless piece of paper. Because that, oh, your SBDC advisor can help with your research. Okay, that's excellent. The other thing that's actually really helpful is ChatGPT and Google. There are a lot of resources to find this information. You do not have to pay, you just have to go look and ask. And I believe actually the SBDC has an entire research department that can do actual research for y'all, like the kind of research you would typically have to pay for. So get with Jean on that. But you are going to want to know the demographics, okay? And you're going to want to break it down into different target. You're allowed to have 3, 4, or 5 target markets. I don't care. Have one target market that talks to women in their 20s and another one that talks to men in their 20s, women in their 30s, men in their 30s. Another one talks to men in their 50s and whatever. I don't care. Have as many as you want. Just do the research on all of them. Because you cannot get creative with how you're putting your message out there until you know where these people are hanging out. See, this portion right here, family life, hobbies, who do they hang out with? Where do they hang out online? Where do they hang out offline? That, my friends, that is what's going to allow you to be creative with where you put your message. That is what's going to allow you to start cutting the cost. Instead of saying, I'm going to go put ads on Google, which is expensive AF, I can say, you know what? I happen to know that my target market is hanging out on this podcast. I'm going to go get featured on this podcast. I happen to know that my target market is hanging out at this restaurant, at this local area, and I'm going to go find a way to put my message there. I'm going to go scout out the area, talk to the restaurant manager and ask them if I can put table toppers up for a week. That information is what allows me to get targeted with my message distribution. So I'm not trying to do 40 different things. Now, what's really, really important here is the 3rd section, and this is the psychographics that we haven't even talked about. But this is what allows you to cater your message in a way that allows your audience to feel seen, valued, and spark them to action. We need to know what they're interested in. We need to know what they like and what they dislike. We need to know what their aspirations are, their attitudes. I want to know what information do they need in order to make a buying decision. I will tell y'all, you can actually Google or ask ChatGPT, what do women in their 30s need to know in order to make a buying decision as a rule of thumb? And they will tell you. What information are they looking for? They want to know they can trust the brand. They want to know that they can, that the brand has longevity behind it. They want to know this. Now I know what to put into my message. I'm really excited about this. I hope some of y'all are as excited too. I know, like, we're staring at computer screens here. So like, this is cool. So you have your target market research. The reason this matters, and the reason, yes, this does take time, but this allows you to design a more resonant marketing message, which is going to create higher conversion rates. It allows you to get in front of your ideal audience faster, which means you're going to get faster conversions, and you're going to be able to focus your marketing methods, which means you'll waste less money and energy. So all in all, it may take you anywhere from 4 to 6 hours to do your target market research, and I'm not joking. You should be prepared to spend a solid chunk of time. Now, you don't have to do it all at once. You could do 15, 20 minutes weekly for, a month and a half. That's fine. But this is what's going to allow you to get more conversions quicker with less work. That's like a mic drop moment, y'all. This is the piece so many people are missing, and they get so worried about, should I be marketing on social media? The questions I always get at the end of these trainings is, Stephanie, what would you do to market my business? And my answer is, I don't know. Until you give me a target market and a marketing message, I can't tell you. And I'm not going to tell you, oh, you should be on LinkedIn and TikTok and Facebook and Google and have this, because I don't know. Maybe you don't need to be on LinkedIn. Maybe you don't even need a website. There are some businesses out there that don't even have websites, which is a little bit mind-blowing to this millennial. I can't tell you what you need to do to market your business until we get you this. So stop worrying about the methods and the tactics until you've done your target market research. Take this, jot it down, and fill in the blanks until you have 5 to 6 pages worth of information. Because that's what's going to allow you to build an emotionally evocative marketing message, which is the next piece here, because people do not buy logically, people buy emotionally. We do not make logic-based buying decisions, we make emotional buying decisions, and your marketing message needs to be willing to tap into that. If you tell me that you're the best provider in your industry, I'm going to be honest with you, here's a little bit of hard medicine. I don't care. In fact, no one cares. No one cares that you are the best person in your industry to do this. What they care about is, do they feel something that makes them feel connected to you? And that marketing message, and here's I do want to clarify, because as soon as I say marketing message, everyone starts going, oh, she means my tagline. Actually, no, I do not mean your tagline. A tagline is part of your marketing message, but your message is a broader piece. I love using Kay Jewelers as an example for this. Their old marketing firm used to do a really great job with this. Their new marketing firm is in my opinion, but their old marketing firm used to do a really, really good job with this. They would always show, so we all know Kay Jewelers' tagline, right? It's every kiss begins with Kay. And every single time Kay Jewelers had an ad going on, they would have 2 people who obviously care about each other further away. And then throughout the course of the ad, they would bring them together. So they had an ad series they ran for a while where they had military people stationed overseas or on boats, and Kay Jewelers paid for the airtime for them to talk to their family, to have a conversation. And throughout the ad, they would show the guy and the family, or the military person, the service member and the family, and they would show them separately. And at the end of the ad, they brought them together, placed their hands on the screens, and showed that. They bring people together. They would have one person coming to another person at a restaurant. They bring people together. Kay Jewelers is not saying, oh yeah, buy a $5,000 diamond for a kiss, because let's be honest, y'all, that's just a stupid marketing message. How many of y'all are spending $5,000 for a kiss? Gotta put my hand down. No one's spending $5,000 for a kiss. How many of y'all would spend $5,000 if you knew it was going to bring you closer to the person you love in the irrevocable, timeless, priceless way that will never fade? That's what Kay Jewelers is selling. That's their marketing message. It's emotional. It matters. And it's one of the reasons they have continued to be one of the top 3 diamond sellers in the United States for more than a decade. It is, to Amy's point in the chat, game changer to bring emotion. And I understand we all think that we don't want to bring emotion to this because, Stephanie, my work should stand alone. Here's the thing, it doesn't. It doesn't stand alone. That hasn't worked. Build it and they will come hasn't worked since 1989. And I'm pretty sure it didn't even work then. Like, that's a Field of Dreams thing. dreams being the operative word. We have to design evocative messaging that resonates, because here's the thing, there are people in your industry taking advantage of your clients. They don't do as good a job as you, and you know it. But their marketing is better, so they keep closing the deals and your clients keep getting screwed. Your clients and you deserve to have a message that resonates. I'm going to move on because here's the soapbox Stephanie goes into, I told you all about. So your message, once you've designed it, you're going to then look on how do I communicate this through the colors that I have, the tone that I strike, the verbiage that I use. Everything is going to come together to show that message. With GrowDisrupt, this company that targets ADHD entrepreneurs to get them to come to our events, I tell my team, I say, if we're going to put out a video, the entire video has to be built in a way that keeps ADHD attention. It has to be fast moving. We have to have text on screen. We have to have visuals and engagement all over the place. We don't put out crappy videos because that undermines the message that you will have an experience unlike anything else when you work with our brand. We have bright colors bursting through because our promise is that you'll break through whatever's holding you back in your growth in your business when you come to our events. This is a gentleman I worked with a while ago, Roger Christian, and he said something that just really struck me. This guy has done marketing for major brands like Bluebell, Whataburger, Coca-Cola. I mean, major brands. Okay, at least two of those are big in Texas. So he's done the marketing for them. And he said, Stephanie, what kills me sometimes is when I design a flyer for Coca-Cola and I send it off to them, and this could be a flyer that's legitimately going to go sit in the back of a deli somewhere in New York City that not that many people are going to see, but it will go through 3 rounds of quality control to ensure the message is on point for what Coca-Cola wants it to be. So the problem that I have is that Coca-Cola will put out millions of marketing messages per year, and they will do that many rounds of revision to make sure each one of them is on point. And yet a small business owner who can put out a fraction of those does not do the same. Your message has to be on point, because the smaller your budget, then the fewer messages you can get out, and the more critical it is that it is clever enough and powerful enough to stop people in their tracks. This is where we're in the middle of launch week for these done-for-you marketing plans that we've created. So we have these, it's literally a $247 done-for-you marketing plan. It works for boutique, personal brand businesses that are selling B2B, but it's all 3 of these things. It's a done-for-you plan. The reason it's selling as well as it is this week is because the messaging is on point. The messaging is that there is marketing that works for small budgets, and you don't have to figure it out on your own, because the world deserves to see your brilliance. And that is what is selling these done-for-you plans. I'm a small business too. We're putting out, I think, a grand total of maybe 20 or 30 messages this week about the done-for-you plans. I don't have the ability to put out 1,000 messages in a week. I have to make sure that my marketing is on point. And I'll tell you, most small businesses don't even have the ability to put out 20 to 30 messages in a week. If they can get 3 to 4, they're doing pretty good. So take some time to revise your message. Now, here's what you're going to do to revise your message, because I wouldn't just throw you to the wolves here. So how do you find your marketing message? There's 3 questions you're going to ask yourself. The first thing is, why do you love working with your ideal client? What is it about this client that makes you go, oh my God, Stephanie, oh, this person, that I love working with them because they X. Right? I can talk all day about why I get so excited working with entrepreneurs, because of the level of quality they bring, because the fact that they hold our entire economy to a higher level, because without them, big business would be selling us crap. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that word, but I'm going to say it anyhow. Big business would be selling us terrible stuff. Small business owners say, no, I'm going to hold this to a higher level of quality. I care because they do better work and they get overlooked. So now we have to say, what challenges are they dealing with in relation to your products or service? Well, they get overlooked. They don't get seen. They don't get chosen because they're the unknown brand, the unknown option. That's a problem. So how do I help them? I teach them how to create marketing that works for small business budgets. that goes beyond social media. Because social media is not an end all be all. There are no silver bullets, if you remember from a little earlier. That's my marketing message. That's what resonates. That is what is selling the crap out of these done for you marketing plans that we did not even expect to happen. Well, we hoped it would, but it was, one of those moments where I was like, we're putting the plan up and we'll see what happens. And it's just kind of taking off because the message is resonant, because the target market is on point. So take some time to figure this out and then turn it into a paragraph, turn it into a story. I care about working with my clients because they are X, Y, and Z. They are struggling with A, B, C, and I help them by giving them what? Go the step beyond just the basic. You don't sell electricity. I noticed my marketing message wasn't, how do I help them? I give them a done for you marketing plan. My marketing message was I teach them how to create marketing that works and make it accessible. So think about what you provide that goes beyond the practical aspect and pull that into a paragraph and then ask yourself, how do I show this to my target market? How do I put this up in a place they are paying attention? We personally do have a very heavy social media marketing campaign. Why? Because ADHD entrepreneurs are on social media. We have a heavy TikTok campaign because ADHD entrepreneurs are on TikTok. But we're very careful about every message that goes out lives up to the promise, for either of the brands. 2 warnings I'm going to give you real quickly here, and then I'm going to keep us moving because we've got 13 minutes and a lot to go through. So two quick warnings I'm going to give you. The first one is your marketing message needs to be differentiated. If you could take your message and anyone else on the planet could take it and use it for their business, it's not your message, it's a message. It's not differentiated. Trust me, it is not emotionally evocative, and it is not going to get the kind of impact that these stories I've been walking you through have. The reason I have this picture up here, the Savannah Bananas. How many of you guys have heard of the Savannah Bananas, by the way? I cannot be the other. Okay, all right, we got Christy, we got a handful, right? We have a really good question in the chat. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to come back to that in just a second here, Joanne. So differentiate. You have to differentiate your marketing message. The Savannah Bananas have done a phenomenal job about this. They are a baseball team that is not just a baseball team. Yes or yes. They are a whole freaking show. And that's their message. We are the greatest show in sports. And then in every single one of their marketing pieces, they give you a taste of what that show is like. Watch their TikToks, their videos, their posts on social media. Everything revolves around getting a taste of what it's like to go to a Savannah Bananas game. And their message is very differentiated from any other baseball teams out there. Your message needs to be differentiated. It needs to be different to you. It needs to be unique to you. And the other thing we need to make sure is that your message does define what you do. We can't get so far back from, oh, well, Stephanie, I work with people who are, and going into some ethereal kind of verbiage that never actually explains what you do. So when you have your message, test it out with a few people. Ask them if it makes sense what you do. Because if you're sitting here going, I help people feel better about themselves and like they are capable and strong and amazing, cool, I don't know what you do. I plug people into a network of support systems that help them see themselves for the brilliant person they are by giving them access to training and others like them. That's much more specific. You can make it even more specific, but you have to get clear. You have to define what you do. So Joanne's message real quick, organizing services for small business as a startup. My concern is obtaining and keeping work for my employees, contractors. Am I solely responsible for marketing so my employees will have a job, will always have work? Should I have an outside marketing organization do this while I focus on the business, or should I hire a team member? Okay, that's a really, really good question. Really good question. I am not a fan of outsourcing your marketing until you're already starting to get results and you know why. You are going to market your business better than anyone else. You need to be involved in it. Now, that said, if you have a clearly defined and differentiated target market, you have an emotionally evocative marketing message, it's much easier to outsource if that is the road you want to go down. The challenge is, especially as you're getting going, Joanne, it can be hard to afford people who actually know what they're doing. It's better to start small and to build, and you do one thing, and then once you get that thing going, you outsource that. You start doing your social media content and you build it up, you set it up really well, and then you hire a VA to take that portion over. And then you start doing this next piece, you start doing videos. Okay, now you start by designing the videos and maybe you film them, or maybe you hire someone to film them, but you're very involved every step of the way with getting them, with telling the editor what you want every step of the way. And then once you've had some of those going out that you're like, okay, these are going well, now you can start to let someone else take over. You don't have to start with 6 marketing tactics all at once. Start with 1 and then make sure it's automated and systemized to keep going while you get the next one going and the next and the next. But at the end of the day, you still need to be the CMO of the business. You should still be managing that marketing at the very least. So I hope that answers. I know that's kind of a high level answer. We could probably do an entire training just on answering that question, to be fair. Okay, so our last one is creative and cohesive methods of distribution. And geez, I'm going to keep us moving here really quickly. Creative and cohesive methods of distribution. Your methods need to work together. Otherwise, we can't tap into that exponential marketing concept that we talked about at the very beginning. We've already given you guys some examples of this, but here's the thing. When I have a good marketing message, I have a clearly defined target market. It allows me to tackle marketing strategies that I wouldn't necessarily have been able to before and get results, make an impact with that. For the sake of time, I'm going to skip the story I typically tell here because I've gotten really excited a few times and talked too much on a handful of things. And this part is really important. I want to make sure that I walk you through managing your methods of distribution. How do you build a marketing plan that will help you execute what you're planning? So there's going to be 4 documents you're going to create here. I know this looks like 5. It's the 3 pieces, right? Your detailed and defined target market is your first document. Your emotionally evocative marketing message is your second document, and then you're going to have your methods of distribution, and that's going to break into 2 separate documents, a project plan and a baseline. So first things first, once assuming you've finished your target market research, you've built out your marketing message, now we're going to go into building the methods. First thing you're going to do is you're going to do an audit of all of your current marketing assets, and I want you to create a plan for what you're going to do to update them. So you may say, my website needs an update. Great. I don't want you making the update right now. I want you sitting there making a plan for what you're going to change. We need to change the homepage of the website to include this information, this information, this information, and this information. We need to add this page to the website. We need to update the about page on the website to include this, 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 this. But make a list of the changes you want to make. Don't make them right now. Just make a list. Look at your flyers, your swag, your social media. And again, create a list of everything you need to do to update all of your current marketing assets. A marketing asset is anything that represents your brand. That may be business cards, it may be shirts, it may be hats, whatever. Anything you've got that's representing your brand, audit it. Doesn't need to be updated. Next thing, before we get into actually create, so write down all these ideas. Next, you're going to research ideas online. Once again, this is a great place to go to ChatGPT and say, hey, here's my target market. Here's my marketing message. What would you recommend I do to market this business? Or even just go to Google and say, I'm a mortgage officer and I would like ideas on how to market as a mortgage officer. I'm a coach, I'm a consultant. What are some ideas on how to market? And pull up a list. There's going to be about 40 different at least lists of marketing strategies. Pull them all up and start jotting down the ones that look interesting. You don't have to do them all, just jot them down. You're brainstorming. Last thing you're going to do is you're going to pick up your target market and you're going to read through it again. Only now you're reading through it, asking yourself, what could I use here? What is information that I could use out of this? How could I market to that? I had a client who realized that a lot of his people were doing volunteer work at the San Antonio Food Bank. So he had a friend at the food bank. He went to him and said, hey, is there any way that I can sponsor something on the weekends when y'all have volunteers helping with distribution? And the guy said, yeah, we have a snack and Gatorade table. If you want to sponsor that, bring the snacks, bring the Gatorade, we'll let you put up a sign. So he did. Brought the snacks, brought the Gatorade, put it all up, had a sign that said, I don't remember exactly what the sign said, but it was something to the effect of, take a quick break, refresh and rejuvenate. When you need to do the same for your house, call us, we'll clean your carpets. It was like super simple. And he was getting, I don't know, 5 to 10 calls a weekend from that. It's not something he would have thought. But his message was, I give you a break so you can love the home you live in. So look at your target market and ask yourself what ideas you can get from that. Now you're going to compile this into 2 documents, the project plan and the baseline. The project plan is going to include a list of all of the updates you need to do, all of the one and done. Projects are one and done. Thank you, Marco. I appreciate that. I don't know if that was for me or for the client, though I did help him to come up with that. So I guess that was, we'll take it. I'll take it. I can always use these in both of y'all. All right. So your project plan is going to include all of the one and dones. So if you need to make brand updates, maybe you need to get your brand rebuilt. If you need to update your assets, create a list of all the assets that need to be updated. If you have any strategies you want to kick off, like for example, call my friend at the food bank, or you need to create an asset like a landing page, you need to set up a social media platform. The project plan is going to be a list of all of the things you need to do to get your marketing going. And the baseline is going to be all the things you're going to do on a reoccurring basis to keep it going. You're going to break this out. Again, I'm just watching the time and I want to make sure I have time for a couple questions, hopefully. So we're going to skip the one thing, but your baseline is going to break out into 4 sections. You're going to have all of the tasks you'll do daily, all of the tasks you'll do weekly, all the tasks you'll do monthly, and all the tasks you will do quarterly. So that may look like this. Daily, send and follow up on 25 LinkedIn connection requests and return PR requests. Weekly, create social media content for the next week and create an outbound PR pitch. Monthly, do my CMO meeting, because Stephanie told me to do that at the beginning and I put it on my calendar like she said to, because I was a smart person. Quarterly, find new events to attend. Your baseline can end up being a decent sized sheet of paper. I have my baseline literally lives right here. And it's all the things I do on a daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis to market my business. If you will block 2 hours a week to work on your marketing, it will make the biggest difference in the world. And all you have to do is spend 2 hours per week executing those projects until they're finished. Just 2 hours a week working on them. Once they're all finished, then start executing your baseline. When you have a project plan and a baseline that are built on a defined target market and an emotional marketing message, it works. And now I can also, at the end of the month, go back through my baseline and I can start crossing out stuff that's not working and adding in stuff that does, but it helps me keep track of everything so I can make sure I'm managing it. So I know what to check in on. The last thing I will wrap up with very quickly here. Obviously, I play the violin. I have since high school, really, but I really got serious about it back in 2019. When I started playing the violin, I would watch all of these incredible violinists on YouTube, Lindsay Sterling in particular, playing and dancing like their heart. I mean, just... And I would just watch them make music effortlessly. And it was so frustrating. It was frustrating because I knew I wanted to sound like that. I wanted to sound better, and yet I sounded like a freaking cat was dying. But I kept putting time in and putting time in. And eventually, in January, I did get to take a Lindsay Sterling. Actually, I just realized I don't think y'all are going to be able to hear this because... Here, hold on. Here we go. In January, I was able to take some Lindsay Sterling music and actually play it on stage. It's the Lindsay version of Greatest Showman. And the only reason I play that and I give you that as our takeaway here is because I think sometimes we see someone who is so experienced at a skill set, like violin or like marketing. We feel like there is no possible way we can possibly do it as effortlessly and as easily as they can. But marketing, just like playing the violin, is a skill. And if you will spend 2 hours a week working on practicing and building that skill set, it will make all the difference in the world. All of the difference in the world, because when we take action on the things we learn, we achieve considerable traction in objective nailing. When we take action, we move ourselves towards the goals and objectives we have set for ourselves in our life. I want to thank you guys so very much. I know Jean will be sending out the PowerPoint to y'all. We also have a 3-part video series on how to get free PR if you are interested in that. And then I also have a Facebook group called Marketing That Works, and we bring marketing ideas. I'm in there a couple times a week with some marketing tactics, strategies, etc. And we'll make sure we send y'all the link for that as well. You can scan the QR code and text us, and we'll get that out to y'all tomorrow. Thank you guys so very much. This has been an absolutely amazing time. I appreciate y'all. Do we have any quick questions? I know I have to run, but do we have any questions I can try and answer real quickly? Thank you, Marco. Thank you guys for engaging with me. Seriously, this was so much fun.
Okay. Wow. Y'all, all of our attendees have done so wonderful today. They moved with us to Zoom from the other web platform. You put up with my technology craziness. And Stephanie, I always get so much out of your presentations. Thank you so much for giving your time and celebrating National Small Business Week with us. And I got to tell you, all our attendees, they're our heroes.
Yeah.
You're in the trenches, you're doing the work, you're believing in your product and in yourselves, and that's just awesome.
Thank
So
you,
if you
guys.
need some assistance, please, I'll be sending Stephanie's slides to you, a link to the recording. If you need to get in touch with me or find out more about the SBDC, I've stuck that up. I try to be social. My kids tell me I still don't know how to have a conversation on social media. They're millennials. What do they know, right? But really, if we can help you in any way, please let us know. There will also be a link in that email to a survey to let us know how we did. And as I said, everybody will get a copy of the slides, and you'll have an opportunity to see that QR code and all the resources once again. But with that being said, thank you for taking the time to be here with us this afternoon, and we will see you all at the next webinar. Thanks so much.